Hello, 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 everybody. It's How to Tuesday. What? That's right. So, hello, I am Eve. This is Eve's Creations Paint Party. Totally enjoying these how-to sessions. This is your session to learn stuff. We're gonna learn stuff. Tonight is mountains, rocks, earth, cliffs, anything to do with dirt. That's what we're doing. We're dirtying it up tonight. That's right. Hello, hello, hello. Let's say hello to the Mr. Butters, because he might chime in. He likes to chime in sometimes during my videos. He likes to say hello himself. So say hello, hello, hello. Hi, Mr. Butters. How you doing? Yeah, he's a good boy. Yes, you are. Hi, Kimberly Ann. Nice to meet you, sweetheart. Wait, I think I've met you already. I think you've been on here before. Yes, no, maybe. Hi, Ontario in the house. That's right. All my Canadian fam. Love it. I absolutely love it. Hello, everybody. So tonight we are not doing an actual painting. We are just doing practice. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Victoria. He's a cutie, right? Once. See, I could have... Once. Hey, once is good for me. I could have sworn it looked familiar. Hey, Victoria. Hi, Lily. How you doing, sweetheart? Hello, everybody. Hello. So, we're not actually painting a real picture tonight. We're going to be doing practice. I have all my supplies ready to go. I'm doing all right, Lily. I'm hanging in. Yes, Karen. My replays are always available. Just go under the videos tabs on my business site and you will be able to see them. So get yourself some supplies together if you're practicing with me. If you're just watching, that is fine too. So tonight I'm going to be using, I have Big Boy. He is my 1-inch flat. I have a Tiny with me. He is just a very small round brush. I have a Fluffy with me. You guys know how I like my Fluffies. Just a beat up old bristly brush. All right. And I have Mini Me. He looks just like Big Boy, except he's smaller. He has a nice flat edge on him though. We like that, especially with rocks. I have a flat palette here with me tonight because I'm going to show you some palette night stuff. And I have a palette that's going to hold all my colors in the well. Alright, I do have some palette knives with me. I think I'm going to be using this one. Alright, that's the shape of that one. And I want to play around with this guy today. He kind of looks like a little mason trowel. He's pretty neat. I like his point. He gets into tight edges with that, so that's pretty cool. Alright, and we'll see what else goes on tonight. Maybe I'll wind up grabbing something else. Who knows? I'm going to pour my paint. I use the same paint colors every single party I've ever done. They'll never change, never, ever. That is black, white, red, yellow, and blue. Because those are the primary colors, and you can get any color of the rainbow just using those 3 colors, and it's so amazing. I think that's just so cool how that works out. Hi, Stephanie. How you doing, sweetheart? So say hi if you're painting with me or practicing. We're practicing tonight. Tuesday's practice session. All right. And I'm going to put you guys in your handy dandy little holder. And I'm going to pour some paint. We'll wait for more people to log on and we'll get this started. Now this is your session. So if you have any questions, absolutely 6,000% comment to me. Okay. And I will try to answer you as best as I can. I'm showing you guys how I know how to do these things, and I hope it helps for you. And I'm doing all right, Stephanie. I'm doing all right. I'm glad you're doing well. And we're going to try to keep it focused on the topic. All right, but if you have any questions for me, feel free to ask. This is your session. Hi, Natalie. I hope I'm saying that right. Welcome to the family, Natalie. Welcome. So we're going to do practice tonight. Awesome. Welcome. So, hello everybody, and let me put you guys in your little holders so you can see my canvas. Hi, Cheryl. Hey, Cheryl. How you doing, sweetie? You never, did you get your kit, love? Did you get your kit, Cheryl? I know I shipped it to you, but I'm not sure if you received it. I just want to make sure. Hi, sweetheart. You are amazing. You are are all amazing. I love it. I'm going to go grab my colors, finish saying hello to each other, and we're going to get started on painting rocks, mountains, cliffs, dirt. Dirty dirt, dirt, dirt. That's what we're going to do tonight. Dirty dirt, dirt, dirt. That's how tonight's going to go. So I'm just filling my palette with my colors. Get this started. Oh my goodness, you guys, if you watched me last Friday, I had such a big old mess with my yellow paint, and pretty much the first 10 minutes of my video on Friday was me cleaning up yellow paint. So it is cooperating tonight, so thank goodness for that. I did not make a mess. I made a little mess on my hand, but that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Oh, awesome, Cheryl. Great. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yes, love it. Love it. Thank you so much for that order, and I hope you're really enjoying it. So it has the same paints and brushes I use for my parties, so it's pretty cool. So I just wanted to thank you, and I'm glad you received it. Thank you so much. Okay, yes, so these videos are free to watch. Tips and gratuities. Yes, Victoria, we talked about that on Facebook. Victoria just commented to me, I need a crater or asteroid crash. We did discuss that, but you got to put your little one to sleep, don't you? So I will do that later on after you're done. We had a whole conversation on Facebook. Paint, white, black, yellow, red, blue. Alrighty, so here is our canvas. I am just going to real simple put a background on for myself. All right, so I'm going to dip my brush into some water. I'm just grabbing my 1-inch flat. I'm just going to grab some, let's do a sunset sky, okay? So I'm going to grab white, blue, hello, white, yellow, and some red on my brush, and I'm very simply just going to put that on real quick. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to throw on a little background for myself. So when I do the mountain, I'm going to start off with the mountain. When I do the mountain, it has some paint to glide on. Okay, so things are a little easier. Acrylic paint dries very fast, so you want to work very quickly when you're painting certain items, because you don't want the paint to dry on you. Because if you have the paint dry on you, you're gonna wind up painting it all over again. So instead of just having it all blend together, which is nice, you're gonna wind up just starting from scratch and having to paint it all over again. And we don't want that to happen. We don't want that to happen. Hi, Julia. Welcome to the fam, Julia. Hello, hello. So you just make some comments, ask any questions you want, Julia. This is a practice session, so no worries there. All right, so here's my background. Like I said, we're just practicing, so I'm just giving myself some sort of little surface to work on. I figured, hey, let's do a sunset, all right? And I am just using my 1-inch flat brush. All right, I got paint on myself. Ah! That's no surprise. All right, so I'm going to show you a mountain using my 1-inch flat. All right, and then I'm going to show you some techniques with I'm going to show you some mountain with the palette knife and all of that good stuff. So that's fun to do. All right, and we'll get this started. So I have my 1-inch flat brush. I actually brushed it really nice and flat from doing that. And I'm going to let's do a brown mountain, right? So to make brown, I'm going to scoop red and yellow, put that together. You're going to get I'm going to make a ton of it, right? Because I'm going to be doing rocks and dirt this whole time, so I better make a ton of brown, right? So I'm just scooping red and yellow together, equal parts of both. Right, so we're going to make a big old blob of that. Big old blob, very technical. Okay, and then I'm going to grab a little bit of white, throw that in my big old blob. Okay, so I got a big old mess working here. And then I'm going to grab a little bit of blue, just a smidge. And I'm going to work that in. And you could grab blue or black. It's really your preference. And you just want to work that in small increments until you wind up, when you're blending it together, it turning into a brownish color for you. Okay, so doing the blue instead of the black, you get like a greenish hue to your brown, and that's kind of cool. All right, so there is going to be my base color of brown right there. And the reason I say base color is when you are doing rocks, tonight, I'm going to leave it to like 3 colors, all right? So you're going to hear me talk like very technical. So I don't want to lose you guys, so make sure you stay focused. I call this my base color because it's going to be my basic color. And then I'm going to say my shadow color, which basically is this paint and put black in it, okay? So that's how that's going to happen. And then I'm going to say a highlight color, which basically is this paint and put some white in it, all right? So I'll go over that as I'm painting, but right now I just want to take my base color brown, right? I'm going to put it on my brush, make sure I have a nice flat edge on my brush. Hi, Magna, happy birthday to your brother. Happy birthday to your brother. All right, and I'm going to start up here. And all you want to do is cut in some edges for yourself. So rocks have sharp edges. Mountains have edges. It's all about having a crisp, sharp line. All right, so let's just say right here, right, lives in mountains. I'm going to do a line up that way, and then I'm going to drop it down this way, and then, what the heck, put something here. All right, and the only thing you really want to be concerned about is that your outside line is very crisp. That's all you want to worry about. Okay, so then I'm going to, let's swoop it right off the canvas. There I go. I'm going to turn the, ooh, seasick. I'm going to turn my thing. All right, so I'm going to just swoop that right off the canvas. I got a nice edge going on here. All right, and I got a nice little edge going on here. Okay, so the rest of this, I am just going to smush in my paint. I'm just going to smush in my paint, right? Fill in all these little triangles. That's all I'm going to do. So I'm just smushing in a base color of this mountain, right? So once I do that, and on the bottom, you want to soften it out. Okay, so on the bottom, you want to soften it out, all right? So always, always, always soften it out on the bottom of your mountain. So I'm going to turn around, and I'm actually going to grab a dry 1-inch flat. He's all dry. And I'm very simply going to brush over this and soften it all out. And you want to pull from inside and start doing your angles, okay? So one angle is going to go this way. This is my light source, right? And then the other part's going to go a little off to the side. And this guy, he's hiding in the back, so I'm going to pull his angle down and then pull his other part going this way, right? And then I'm going to pull this angle down. You know what's cool is since my paint was still wet from my sky, I'm getting highlight in there without even working for it, right? So I'm just going to pull this angle down and then swoosh this one this way, okay? So as you're playing around, filling these in and softening it out, and you 6,000% want the bottom to be soft, right? Because that goes away in the mist. We're just going to soften that out. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I'm a highlight first person, all right? So I'm like the kind of person that does the lights and then the darks when it comes to mountains. It's up to you. Some do darks first, lights next. So I want to take that brown paint and I am just going to add some white to it. That is all I'm doing. We have a nice dark brown, nice brown mountain here. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, definitely ask me. Give me some thumbs ups and likes to keep me motivated through this video. Because I know I do all the talking, and I just want to make sure you guys are with me. So I might ask you to be like, hey, thumb up me, and all that good stuff. Make sure you're all still out there. There we go. Thank you so much for that. All right, so I have that brown with just some white on my brush, and I'm going to go in here. And very simply, the light's here, right? So you want to see where it's hitting on your mountain, right? So it's going to hit this edge, and this edge. Very, very simple. Thank you so much for that, guys. You're out there. I love it. I love it. Kimberly and Lynn, Victoria, Lily, Stephanie, Natalie, Cheryl, and Julia. Hello, my fan. Hello, my peeps. I love doing roll call. And I'm very simply going to just cut this in on the front. And I'm just going to swoop, swoop, swoop it towards the bottom. Now, what's cool about doing this part, swoop, is you can create different angles for yourself on the front of this mountain. So I swoop that in and say I want this to be the ridge right here, right? So I'm going to come up in here and I'm going to swoop that part in. And see how I automatically got like a little ridge nook going on? And all I did was one brush stroke. All right, so, and then let's say I'm going to drop this ridge in like that and pull it out. All right, so just like that, I created, and I'm just pushing with my brush and pulling. That's all I'm doing. I'm pushing with my brush and pulling, okay? Because I'm going to add to this. I'm not done yet. So just like that, again, remember to soften. Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Cheryl. You guys are awesome. I love you. Again, soft one, dry 1 inch flat, softening the bottom, all right? Then I want to grab that highlight color again, so I'm just adding white to my brown, and I'm going to come back in here. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, guys. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to go to this little guy in the background, right? So that's going to hit right up here. I'm going to turn my brush this way instead because it's not going to be a very big area. And you can wiggle it back and forth to get a better line. So I'm going to hit right in here, and then I'm just going to wiggle this down a little bit. That's all I'm going to do. And then you see, now I don't pull it because this is the back of this guy. I don't bring it all into here because this guy's coming this way, all right? It's your world. It's your mountains. Do whatever you want. So, again, with just my highlight color, I'm going to put in that little tiny space right there, all right? Now, highlight color again. Let's do the big guy in the back, right? Let's get to this guy back here. And, again, I'm going to just wiggle my brush a little bit, get right on the edge of where my base color was. Let me move my camera a little bit. There we go. And I'm just going to wiggle it down, wiggle it just a little bit. I'm just going to wiggle it down, right? Get that edge going. And then the next thing I want to do is put that ridge in like I did the top one, right? So, let's just say I have a ridge right here, right? And making the noises help. So I put a ridge right there, right? So let's say this is like, and I'm cutting it across the guy in the back and in front of this mountain. See that? So just like that, doing that one little flick of my brush, I put all of these guys in their place. Wouldn't that be great? You just flick your brush and put all your men into your place. So just like that, just by going shroom, like that, I put him in front, him all the way in the back, and him in the middle. See that? Just by doing that one little cut. Hi, Nancy. Hope you're feeling better, hon. Hello, guys. Hi, Nancy. So just by doing that one little cut this way, swoof, I put everybody in their place. Boy, life should work like that. I'm telling you. So, and again, I had my highlight here, so I am just going to cut in, like I did right here, some more of those pieces coming down. Right? So, and you can play with that later. Like, say, hey, oh, you know what? I don't like that he's like that. So you could actually go in like this. You can come up here and you can cut in a whole other piece if you want to. You can have a lot of fun with that. See how I did that? I wasn't really liking his shape too much, so I just changed it. It's my world. I'm allowed to. Right? And then, right, Victoria? It always works with the noises. The noises are the magic. again, I'm going to take my dry 1-inch flat. I'm going to pull these angles down. I'm going to pull all this down. And I'm going to just soften it out. Okay, so I'm just softening it out. Smushing it in. Soften out in here. Soften all that bottom up. All right. Now, ta-da! Now we have... That's all right, Magna. So now we have a basic mountain shape with just the highlights on it. So, the next thing I want to do is put the shadow in. All right, technical word again, right? What am I doing? I'm just adding black to my brown paint, making it darker. That's all I'm doing. So now I just need a dark brown paint. So I'm just going to add black to my brown paint, right? I added white over here, and I'm adding black over here. Put that on my brush, load that up on my brush. Again, make sure you have a nice fine edge. Awesome, Magna. And I'm going to come back in here and see all of the pieces that are kind of going this way. That's where I'm going to put my shadow, right? So, you very simply just work on the other side, all right? So, I'm going to cut this in for myself. Just like that. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to just cut this in, wiggling my brush back and forth down that little ridge line that I made before. I'm just going to cut that in, just wiggling my brush back and forth. I'm going to slice a little dark in here. Why not? Right? Why not? And blend it out a little bit. All right? So I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to blend this all together. And I'm smushing this. I'm smushing it. I'm smushing it and softening it. Okay? And then, once I have that, I'm just going to fill this in. Now, you don't have to fill it in, like, completely. You can just dash this dark in there. Like, if you color it in and don't leave some little variation in there, it's going to look very flat. Okay? So, you just want to drop that in there. All right? So, again, I'm going to grab that darker brown. Put it on my brush. I want to come back to this guy. I'm going to put it on that edge, the top edge there. And I'm just going to wiggle it. Wiggle it just a little bit. I got to turn my brush this way to fit in that little nook. And just like that, you guys, I'll lift that up a little bit. I kind of went out of my lines. If anybody knows me when they paint with me, I don't like painting in the lines. I really don't. Thank you, Cheryl. All right, now the big guy, right? The big gun's over here. So let's see. Let's say he has a piece here. I'm just going to wiggle my brush back and forth and see what happens. Why not? Why not? Let's just go very harem-scarum. I'm just wiggling my brush back and forth and swoop, pull that out. And fill the rest in. So I'm not worrying about this part. Like if I was actually doing this as a full painting, knowing how I do stuff, I probably, again, I'm just softening out the bottom, blending it out. I'd probably be throwing a big tree right here. So I'm doing lots of sound effects tonight. So I'm really not going to stress that too much. All right. So thanks, Donna. Thanks, Cheryl. So there you have it, right? Now, if you want to go, let this dry a little bit, right? Let's just dry a little bit, and let's play with adding a little bit of detail to this sucker. All right, so we're going to add a little bit of detail to this sucker. So, detail, right? So, I got to grab my small little brush right here. All right, I'm going to swirl tap dab that bad boy. I'm going to grab some of that darker paint that I made before. Right? Make sure your paint's not globby. Make sure it's nice and soft and thin. Alright, and I'm going to go in here and let's say right here is a little crack going through. Like let's just say this is broken right here. So I am just wiggling in my brush. That's all I'm doing. I'm just grabbing my dark, dark, dark brown. And just like that, just by putting that one little line in, you just made this mountain ridge into two pieces. into 2 pieces. Hi, Srilata. Hi, sweetheart. Just like that, you made that mountain into 2 pieces, right? So you can have fun with these. So you can add all these little fun little cracks and designs, and you know, just be careful of your angles, all right? That's all you need to be careful about. So let's say, hey, like up here where this weird dude is, right? I'm gonna just throw one in right here. Right there. That's where I'm going to do that one. And I'm literally just wiggling my brush. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. And I'm going to soften it out a little bit. That's all. Okay. So, now that that's more dry, I showed you the 3 things, right? So you had a base brown, a light brown, and a dark brown. You put your base, you put your light where the light's coming from, and then you put your dark on the other edges. You create these ridges just by wiggling your brush back and forth. You can go in and add some cracks and crevices if you like. Now say, hey Eve, I want to put snow on this mountain, right? So I'm going to show you with the brush. I'm going to show you with the brush. And the next mountain, I'm going to do a mountain on this side. I'm going to do a mountain over here on this side, and I'm going to do it all palette knife for you guys, okay? So I'm going to swirl tap dab my brush, clean it off. And since it's a sunset, I'm not going to use straight up white. I'm going to use some white that has a little peachy in it because the sun is going to be reflecting off of the snow. So 1 inch flat again. I grab my peachy little white that's going on there. It was dirty. Why not? It was already dirty from making my brown. I'm going to pull my brush nice and flat. See that? Nice and flat. And you want to go over to the front of your mountain and very light, very light. Keep your hand loosey-goosey, loosey-goosey. Shake it out, right? Nice and light. And you're just going to come in here and you're very, very simply just going to so light, like hardly touching the canvas at all. And you can turn around and just put some snow. And if you notice, I'm not putting that, not filling it in. I'm not making one solid color. I am just putting in little dashes. I'm dashing my brush. Dashing like this. I am not filling in the snow everywhere. I am not filling the snow in everywhere. Okay, and then this little guy back here, I'm going to wiggle. I'm going to wiggle it a little bit again and just dab some white into that one. And I'm going to go to my big guy right here, right? I'm going to wiggle on the edge. And then I'm going to just dab some white in this one, right? So go around that little crater. Come over to here. Right? And I am just dabbing this in. I am not using this with any rhyme or reason whatsoever. Just little dabs. Just little dabs. That's it. That is it. Now, you want snow on the other side, right? It doesn't just fall on one side of the mountain. So you need to make this a dark colored snow. Notice I didn't do white. I'm doing tinted white. So my dark colored snow, I'm actually going to grab that base of brown color that I made, add it to my white. So I have this light tan color. And I'm just going to put in, I'm just going to do like little swoop, like that. Ready? Swoop, swoop. See? Just like that. Little swoops, little dabs. Because you don't want to lose all of that dark that you did. So, little dabs. Little dabs. And this is, and if you go light enough, the canvas will actually cause your dabs to break up. All right? So, there you guys go. Brown mountain, lighter color for where the light hits, darker color for what's hiding it, a little bit of snow. Don't do like bright white. Like once this dries, you can add some bright white areas if you'd like to. Right? So I'm just going to grab a little brush again. And I could come into here and I can be like, really hit that with some bright white. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. I don't know if that's coming across, but then you can go in and just add these pops of bright white. Just like that. So, mountains are a lot of fun. I could spend the next 50 minutes on just playing with this sucker. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop playing with that guy. Because I'll be here playing with that guy all day. And if you have any questions, let me know. Alright, so palette knife mountain, right? Let's go over here. Hi, everybody. Hello. So, palette knife mountain, right? So, I got these two palette knives. Bum, 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 bum. This one I find the most versatile. If you're going to get a palette knife, I would recommend this shape. This one kind of looks like a little mason trowel. It's kind of cute. I like this guy too because he gets into all the corners. So, same concept as before. You're just pulling it, you're just putting it on with a palette knife. So, I'm going to grab that base brown that I made. I'm going to grab that base brown. And I'm going to put it on a nice flat palette for myself. Right? So, and then you're just going to pull it flat, right? Or pull it, you know, this is what Bob Ross does. He makes it look so fancy, fancy, fancy. Alright, so you're just going to pull your paint nice and flat. Alright, I'm going to wipe off my palette knife. I'm going to cut that edge that he always cuts. Get that roll of paint on there. And you come up in here. That's right, Magna. I'm painting another one. I'm painting another mountain. It's all good. So I'm gonna keep on standby that dry brush. All right, keep on standby that nice dry brush so you can soften the edges. Again, your outer edges is the most important thing. So I am just gonna press. I am just going to press and cut in my edge of my mountain. So I'm just pressing the palette knife and I'm pulling down. Pressing and pulling down. Pressing and pulling down to get a nice edge. Right, so say come over here and this will make this the other side because it's basically, you hear me scraping, I'm just pulling the paint down from that edge. So basically you're going to do the same concept as I did with the paintbrush. You're just doing it with a palette knife instead. Right, so I have that in there and then I'm going to pull with that dry brush. Leave those edges alone. I'm going to pull with that dry brush. And soften this all out right here. Right? So you just pull down. Leave the edges alone. With your dry brush. And fill this all in. So I'm going to make this like one of those mountains that have like those straight up and down faces to it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to explain it, but, right? So, I just pulled down for putting that paint on there, and I'm filling this all in. Smush, 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 smush. Hey, Lisa. That's okay. Aw, no worries, Megan. That's all right. All right, so, now, again, I want to put my highlight, right? So I'm going to take that brown paint and I'm going to add my white to it. Now I'm using my dirty white from before. And I'm just going to go back and forth with this on my palette. And I'm not going to over blend it. I want the separation of colors. I want all different colors on my knife. That's okay, Megan. So then once you do that, you wipe your knife off. I'm going to pull this down. I'm going to grab my piece of paint. Okay, and if you could see close, it's all different colors in there. It's not one solid color. And I'm going to come up here and I'm going to put this on my edges. And with a very light touch, you can just pull this in. Okay? And I had a little too much paint on there. That's why I didn't break apart, but that's all right. Right? So you're going to have your edges. All right? Well, let's say another edge is here. And you try to press very lightly. I don't know. I like to press hard too. Like they say to go light to get the breaks. I'm kind of like a maniac. I like to press a little hard with my palette knife to get it on there if I see it's going to be breaking. So you're going to find your own shtick. You're going to find what you like to do and what you don't like to do. All right? So putting in all of this stuff, and I'm picturing, you hear me scraping? That's me softening the paint on the bottom. Right? So always soften your bottoms. Soften your bottoms so it looks like it's hazy and misty and far away. Alright? So like I said, I am just grabbing this lighter paint and I'm making all of these little ridges happen. And I want the different colors to come through. Alright? And I'm going to come over here and let's say cut in a new one right there. This is your world. So just have fun with it. Just play around with it. Cut in all of these like straight lines. You know, you want your edges crisp. And the rest of it is just filled in and then softened on the bottom. All right, so nice crisp edges, filled in, softened on the bottom. All right, so now that I have the white part done, the light part, I'm going to grab myself some black paint. And I'm going to do the dark part. So you guys can see this is I'm doing exactly the same thing as the other mountain. I am just putting it on with a palette knife. The palette knife's kind of cool because it creates all these breaks for you that you don't get with the paintbrush. See all those breaks in there? See the breaks in color? See all that? Like you don't get that with the paintbrush. See, with the paintbrush, you really don't get that. You have to kind of create it for yourself. But the palette knife does it all on its own. Alrighty, so I'm grabbing the palette knife. I got that dark color. And I'm just going to come in here. And you know what? I'm going to grab my trowel knife. The one I showed you before. I call it a trowel. I don't know what the real term is, but it reminds me of a little mason trowel. So I'm going to grab this guy since there's really tight little corners in here. And I am just going to put some of the darker paint right on the edge of him. I'm going to come into where these little divots are here. And you're just going to turn around. I just move up and down. And then pull. Alright, more dark paint. Come in here. I'm just moving my knife up and down. Creating some sort of edge and pull. Alright, come in here. Over here we have this whole part. So again, starting on that edge, making that nice edge, and then I'm just pulling. Excuse me. All right, I'm just doing that with the darker paint, and I'm going on to my edge here. I put the knife right on the edge, just like this, right on my edge, and I'm just going to pull. That's all I'm doing. And then I'm just gonna like turn it this way and that way. You gotta play with it. You just gotta play around with it. And you're gonna create all these amazing things that are gonna happen in your mountains. Okay, so just like that. So it's the same exact process as the paintbrush, except when you use the palette knife, play around, and you're gonna get different effects. Again, I could play with this forever, right? What's the most important rule? This whole thing of mountains: sharp edge, soft bottom. Okay, light and dark. All right, and you could turn around and cut these things in. So having this dry a little bit, now I can throw the snow on here. All right, and I'm gonna just get clean white paint because my other paint's all sorts of mucked up. So I have clean white paint, and it's a little bit on my brown here, so it's not going to be stark white. I put the stark white in later. And I am just turning around and putting a little bit on my palette knife, right? A little bit of, so I just kind of pulled the paint this way into my brown a little bit. And then I'm going to take the palette knife and I'm just going to scoop up a little edge on there. Come up in here and start with that edge again. And then with an extremely light touch. Like, you can't get any lighter of a touch. That's great, Lisa. You started doing a palette knife painting tonight, and you never finished. Well, here you go. So, here's some tricks for you. So, a little bit of paint on my knife. I'm going to come up in here and do a very, very light touch. Like, I'm barely touching. I'm like basically just feeling the paint contact with my canvas and then moving my palette knife around a little bit. That's what I'm doing. I'm basically putting this on here. I'm going to feel my paint touch my canvas, and that is it, really. That is all you need to do. And you just move your knife around. And then when you get down here, this is the fun part. This is the part you can scrape. I like scraping the knife. I don't know why. I think it's the noise it makes. I just think it's really, really fun to scrape the knife. And pull. Notice I'm pulling at the angle of my mountain. So that one goes this way. This one goes that way. Soften. Alright, guys. So, there's your mountains. All said and done. If you guys have any questions for me, 6,000% ask me. Alrighty, so the next thing I'm going to show you is rocks, but my tongue feels like a rock right now from all this talking, so I'm going to get a drink of water. That's what I'm going to do. And hi everybody, hi fam. I hope that showed you something good. Hey Kimberly and Lynn, I'm going to do roll call. So I got Kim, Lynn, Victoria, Lily, Stephanie, Natalie, Cheryl, and Julia. I'm looking at my cliff notes because I can't remember anything. And Megna, of course, is here, and Lisa's here. So I hope that helped you. If you're practicing along, take a minute and practice. And I need to get myself something to drink. So I do want to tell you guys, I'm in the process. Say yay, Eve. I'm actually in the process. It's all right, Magna. That's why we call it practice. You have to keep practicing. The more you practice, the better you get. Trust me. You got to trust that the more you practice, the better you get. And the great thing about this is you can let it dry and paint right over it. You just have to keep practicing and just make sure you get the lighter side and the darker side. You're not going to get mountains like me. Guys, I love you all. You're my family. But you're not going to get mountains like me until you've painted for 30 years. That's all there is to it. Sorry, but it won't take that was a little mean. It won't take 30 years to get to this process. But you do have to practice it, okay? That's why we're having practice sessions. So, some people can get it. They'll get it within like 3 strokes and bam, they have it. Some people, you know, it takes a couple years to get it. But honestly, that's why the whole point is to have fun and create. Yeah, Sue, you're not gonna get a mountain that's like Bob Ross Mountain when it's your first mountain you've ever painted or your second. So, seriously, everybody on here, I love you to death. But I want you to put things in perspective for yourself, okay? When you paint something, you want to turn around and do a little self-visualization. Just close your eyes and remind yourself, like when you're done with your painting, remind yourself how many paintings you've done in your life. Just kind of take it in a little bit, right? And be like, this is my 6th painting ever. This is my 20th painting ever, okay? Remind yourself of that. Close your eyes, take yourself out of like being stuck in your painting and ground yourself a little bit with those thoughts and then open your eyes and relook at your painting, and you're going to have an appreciation for it because you're creating, you're doing an amazing job, you're trying to make things look pretty good. And you know what? Sometimes it's just going to be practice. Sometimes you're going to get lucky and be like, bam, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, that's awesome. I totally did that. You know, so that's why I'm doing How To Tuesdays. I'm going to show you how, but then the rest is up to you. The rest is up to you to play, have fun, practice. The more fun you have, the more you don't take yourself so seriously, the better off it comes out. Why do you think I do all the swoops and booms and bangs and all the noises? Because that's how I get it to come out. Because I'm not putting stress into it. That's so... Anyway, that's enough of my lecture. That's my little tidbit for today. And you guys are going to be amazing. I think every single one of you are amazing. You'll do a great job. I'm going to be getting a YouTube channel. Yeah. So, yes, definitely try to enjoy it all, Lisa. 6,000%. So if you hear me like repeat, like if you comment something to me and you hear me saying what the comment is because when my videos go on YouTube, they're not going to see all this commentary. So I'm going to try to like, you know, like if you ask me a question, I'm going to read it out loud. So be like, why is she doing that? Why is she like saying all this weird stuff? And that's why. Because YouTube doesn't see the comments. Doesn't see your guys' comments on there. All right. So we're going to do rocks. You guys ready for rocks? Or cliff? Let's do a cliff, right? Let's go in order. We got mountains. So let's do a cliff next. All right. You guys ready for cliffs? You ready for cliffs? Sharp rocks at the bottom. Anybody ever watch that movie, Emperor's New Groove? It's the cartoon, and they're going down the waterfall. And the guy looks at each other, and he goes, sharp rocks on the bottom, and they're like, probably, and he's like, bring it on. Oh my goodness, I was thirsty. Thank you so much. Yes, yes. So that is in the works for myself. I'm kind of excited to have the YouTube thing happening for me. I hope that you all subscribe. Yes, yes, I'm really excited. I have somebody helping me out with that, so I hope it all works out. And once I get the info, of course, I'm going to share with you guys, and that would be pretty amazing. All right, so let's do a cliff. Bam. All right, let's drop in a cliff. So what am I going to do for a cliff? All right, I'm going to grab that base color, brown again. I'm using my 1-inch flat brush, and I'm going to grab that base color of brown. All right, I'm going to turn around, and I'm just going to drop straight down. That, yes, right, Jamie. Hi, Jamie. How you doing, sweetheart? Yeah, so it might be a minute. It might be a minute till when that's ready, but my videos will be available on YouTube. Hopefully sooner than later. So I am going to just drop this straight down, swoop, just like that. And again, it's all about your edge, right? So you want to cut across an edge. Okay? So just cut across an edge, and I'm just going to stop it right there. All right? Oh, well, yeah, I'm glad you know about YouTube, Magna, because I have no idea talking about doing stuff. I have no idea what you're talking about, but that's okay. All right, so I'm going to put that edge in, and then I'm just going to pull this straight down. Straight down, because it's a drop, right? It's a drop. The cliff is a drop. And notice, again, I am not paying attention to anything that's going on in here, but I am keeping my edge nice and crisp. All right, so we're not paying any attention to what's going on in here. I'm just kind of filling it with color. Okay, and then across the top, sorry, I'm trying to move the camera so you can see what I'm doing. All right, so let's tilt it down this way a little bit. Yeah, I'm not so great with technology, so that's why I have my dearest friend helping me with this stuff. And hopefully soon we'll get that taken care of. So now you need, obviously, the top, right? So I'm going to make it a nice grassy top. Why not, right? So I'm going to grab my yellow. And I'm going to grab my blue, make some green, and a little bit of white. Make my green, okay? Fill my brush up, wiggle it a little bit, gets it to a nice point when you wiggle your brush. And so you want to go horizontal with this, right? This is straight down, so you want to go horizontal. It really adds to the effect of the steepness. Okay, so, and I am just zigzagging. I am just zigzag-zooing. That's all I'm doing. I'm just zigzag-zooing. Okay, and then you could turn around and fill in this part if you want to. So, I am just zigzag-zooing with this part. That's all I'm doing. That is all I'm doing. So, say you have a waterfall. Say you have, you know, a bunch of different things going on. You're going to need some cliffs or some rocks or sides. So, and I'm just zigzagging at that edge. I'm just zigzagging my brush back and forth, creating all these little things going on. That is all I'm doing. Right? Matching up to that edge that I made. So, again, we're back to having nice, crisp edges, right? That's what we want to make sure we have. All right, so fill in the rest of this real quick. And just by putting the lines at those two different angles, it already looks like a cliff, okay? It already looks like a cliff. So, just want to put that in for yourself, okay? All right, so brush is going to go in the water. And I am going to grab what do I want to grab? I don't know what I want to grab. I don't know what I want to play with. What do I want to play with, guys? All right, let's clean that brush off. All right, and again, I'm going to start with my dark. I'm going to start with my dark. So I'm going to grab some of that brown that I made before. I'll grab some of that brown that I made before, and I'm going to add some black to it. All right, nice dark brown here. Wiggle in my brush. Wiggling it back and forth. All right, nice sharp edge. And I want to come right to where this ridge is. Because right where this ridge is going to be the darkest spot. Because your earth is actually going to be coming out over the cliff. Okay, so I'm going to go right up here. I'm going to wiggle this a little bit. And then I'm going to pull very lightly down like that. And I'm going to come here, down. Here, wiggle this in, down. Wiggle this in. Wiggling it. See me wiggling? Down. Wiggle this in. It's kind of like the water. Remember with the water how I said you do straight down and straight across? Kind of like that same ruling with cliffs. Straight down and straight across. Alright. So I'm putting those in. And now I'm going to hold the brush vertical and I'm going to put some of these bad boys in there. So I am just putting in some shadows. Here and there, whatever. I'm not using any rhyme or reason. I'm just holding the brush vertical. And I'm just putting in these shadows. Right? Say my cliff comes out on the bottom there a little bit, right? So, like, have fun. Play around. So, you know, you don't have to have this cliff edge straight. You can put, like, a little rock coming out here. Like, shabam. Just like that. And have that piece as part of your cliff. You know, like that's the sucker that's going to hurt if you fell off. So, now I'm going to grab my lighter color brown, my whites and everything. I'm keeping my brush dirty. Victoria asked what color are you doing on all your edges. So the green was here, and then this was my dark brown. The dark brown is this edging right here where I pulled it straight down like this. So all I did was take that brown color I made before and added black to it. All right, Victoria, that's all I did for that edging. Now I'm going to go into, now my brush is still dirty. I didn't clean it off. I have a lot of different paint in here and a lot of different colors. And I like it like that. I like it a lot. And you know why I like it a lot? You're welcome, sweetie. You know why I like it a lot? Because it's going to do all the work for me and I don't have to play around. All right? So, very simply, I'm just going to put in all these little pieces where the light might be hitting. All right, you're just going to put these in, and you want to, again, hold your brush straight up and down. And you're going to have pieces where the light hits. You're going to have pieces where it doesn't hit at all. You can make all these cool little edges. I'm just wiggling my brush up and down, doing like a ziggy-zag this way. I have all these different colors in my brush, so all these magic things are happening. All these magic things are happening for me right now without me even trying, because the brush is the brush has all the colors in it. Hey Tracy, how you doing, sweetie? Right? So, and then where the edge is, I'm just doing a wiggle. So I'm putting my brush against the edge and I'm wiggling like this. I'm just doing a wiggle. Just doing a wiggle. That's all I'm doing. Wiggling, wiggling, wiggling. All right? So with my nice dirty brush, and just by wiggling my brush, holding it straight up and down and wiggling it around and paying attention to my edges, going up to my edge here, doing a little wiggle like that. See? Wiggle. And having all those colors in my brush. If you notice, I didn't even get any new paint. I am just pushing around all these separation of colors. And the trick is to stick and move. Stick and move. Like once you have something awesome happen, don't touch it again. Don't think to yourself, oh, well, I can make that a little bit better. No, leave it alone. And then I'm just going to lift up this way just to soften everything together. Because the more you play with it, the more you're going to wind up mushing out a really cool thing. That's what's going to happen. So, and now that I have all this cool stuff going on, I am just going to put the smallest amount of the lighter paint on here. See? Very tiny amount. And very, very light touch. I'm just going to put in, like on this edge, little tiny, like, highlights. Not a lot, just here and there. Here, there, not everywhere. Here, there, not everywhere, okay? Here, there, not everywhere. So on this edge that I made before, I'm going to drop some in there. I'm going to drop some in there on this edge. Like that. And it's an extremely small amount of paint on my brush. Very little paint. And I'm just kind of dashing them in without really doing much. And then, for your ground, right, you want to grab that green paint from before. You kind of want to cut your ground back in. Cut that back in. Clean up that edge. See me zigzagging? That's all I'm doing. Cut that back in. And then, if you want, you can grab the lighter color of your green. And you could put in, just by zigzagging, that is all I'm doing. You could put in these highlighted parts. And again, here, there, not everywhere. Here, there, not everywhere. You can put in zigzag zoom, zigzag zoom. That's what we do, right, Magna? Zigzag zooma. I'm just zigzagging my brush back and forth. So you're going to watch later because you're trying to make your mountain into a sandcastle. First of all, I love that idea. I think it's completely amazing. And, yeah, just hang out. Just watch. It's totally cool. We got other people watching tonight. I'm going to do roll call. I love roll call. Hello, everybody. So we have Kimberly Ann, Lynn, Donna, Sue, Jamie, Victoria, Lily, Stephanie, Natalie, Cheryl, Julia. Lisa's in the house. Mom Magna. Cheryl got herself a paint kit, so I'm super, uber excited about that. And, Need my drink of water. And for Friday Night Live, we're doing Chillin' Kitty. So cute, so simple. Thank you so much, Jean. Thank you, hon. So, I'm going to show you rocks next. I'm just giving you a minute or two to practice if you're practicing along with me. Thank you so much, Jean. Thank you so much, Tracy. So you guys can definitely do this, 6,000%. I believe in all of you. I believe in every single one of you. Just remember with a cliff, it's so much more fun just to load your brush up with all different colors, darks, lights, maybe a red, like all sorts of different things, and just kind of do one of these scribblings up and down, and you'll have all this fun stuff happen. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And just make sure your edge right here is the darkest, and you pull down from that, and then you brush in all these happy little things going on. And then with your grass, it's all zigzag-a-zoom the opposite direction. Okay? So, that is how you make a cliff. You know what? I might actually keep this painting. It's coming out pretty cool. Like, check out the whole thing, guys. It looks pretty cool, right? Hey, Timmy. You're off of work now, so that's looking pretty cool for a painting. Not much to smooth there. All right. So the next thing I'm going to show you is rocks. All right, how to paint a rock. So I know a lot of you out there. I've seen your pictures. I've seen you try to paint rocks. Hi, Timmy. Hello. I've seen you try to paint rocks, and they come out looking like little lumps of you know what. Little lumps of that do-a-do. I know we don't want do-do lumps, do we? Oh, one last thing I forgot to tell you on the cliff. You can take that detail brush again. You can take that detail brush again, just like I did in the mountain, and you can grab some really, I'm just going to grab some black paint, but right in your cliff here. Thank you, Tracy. Right in your cliff here with your little detail brush. If you really want to get into it, you can turn around and put some real dark, like underneath that ridge, and then have pieces come down into it like this. And again, I'm just zigzagging. I'm not doing anything special. See that? I am just zigzagging. So if you want to get really particular and add all these little fun things, you can add that dark paint. You come off, and I'm just wiggling the brush. That's all I'm doing. Forgot to show you that part. So if you really want some, like, say that piece is in there, you can do that with your tiny brush if you want to, and get some really, and then you can go into this part and do like a little zigzag like that. And you can do this in all different values if you want. It doesn't have to be the dark. You can do the light. You can do whatever you want to do. Just play with your colors. Have fun with it. With your little brush, you can add so many more little details if you really want to get that intricate. It's completely up to you. So that's what you can do with the little brush. All right, rocks. You guys ready for my rocks? Oops, sorry. Ready for my rocks? Let's do rocks. All right, so I'm going to grab the palette knife for the rocks. What the heck? What the heck? Why not? I've already showed you how to do edges with the palette knife and you can do the same thing with the palette knife on your cliff too. Awesome, Victoria. Woohoo, rocks. So you can do your cliff with your palette knife too, right? Just go straight like this, straight up and down like this. All right. So, palette knife. I need to grab some more base brown paint. And I'm going to leave this like not super duper mixed up. I'm just going to grab it just the way it is. See all those different colors in that base brown? See how I have like the red tones in there and the oranges? Like, I'm going to leave that all mixed up like that. I like that. So I'm just going to put I paint on the edge. You don't always have to make that roll. You can have like a nice big glob if you want. Rocks rock. That's right, Cheryl. Rocks rock. So you can have that nice big glob if you want. You don't always have to do that little roll of paint. It's not necessary all the time. And I am very simply just going to press in a rock shape here. I'm not doing anything special. I'm just pushing paint around on my canvas. And of course I'm scraping because I love the scraping. Right? So I am just pushing paint around on my canvas. That's all I'm doing. And again, you just want to make sure your edges are nice and clean. Right? Rocks are hard. They have sharp edges. So I am just pushing my paint around. I'm pressing my knife into my canvas. And just giving it a little sharp edge. I'm churning it different ways, creating little angles inside of it. Just playing. That's all I'm doing is playing. That's all I'm doing is playing. Right? Let's take this rock right off the edge here. Let's go right off the edge. All right, right off the edge. Now, remember when I said I don't want to over mix the paint? See in here, like, if I could take my finger off the camera, see in here how I got these like little reddish orange undertones going on? And I didn't even have to work for it. I just put the paint on being all different colors. That's all I did. And now I'm just going to play, and I'm going to create all these like little angles and stuff. Make sure my edges are nice and crisp. Right? So, not really doing much. Not doing much. Okay? Oh, that's cool, Magna. So Magna said she digitally paints. That's like a big thing in the world. So at the bottom of this, I'm going to cut straight across because rocks are on surfaces, right? So I am just going to cut straight across here. That's all I'm going to do. Put this rock on a surface. Swoop. Right? So now it's on the ground. That's all I wanted to do. Alright. And the thing with rocks is they cast a shadow. They cast a shadow. So my light is here. So the shadow is going to go this way. Everybody see that? My light is here. My shadow is going to go this way. So on that ground piece, now I'm just grabbing my 1-inch flat brush. I swirl tap dabbed it nice and clean. I'm going to come in here to my ground part. I'm going to kind of just fill that in accordingly. And for my shadow, I'm going to grab that dark brown I had. The dark brown from before. And the light's coming from this way. Alright? So, back here is going to be the biggest shadow part. And I'm just zigzag zooming again. So, back here is going to be the shadow on the ground. Right? And you want that to pretty much, see how high this is? See how big this is? Alright? So I do it so pretty, like if the light is coming all the way from behind the rock, it's going to do the same height. If it was coming in from this way, you're only going to do a thin amount. Alright? So I'm going to do, one of my how-tos, I'm going to do 3D objects, like squares, circles, cones, things like that. But the whole idea of it is we're going to learn highlighting, shadowing, shading, all of that stuff, doing the 3D shapes. And then this way, when you paint a shape, you'll know how to do the shadows off of it. You'll know how to blend it to make it look like it's coming off of your canvas. You're going to learn how to do all of those things. So, the next how-to, I'm actually going to do, I don't know, I was thinking of flowers, but the 3D objects with the shapes and how to do all those different things when it comes to shapes, I'm going to show you that, because that can transfer into you guys painting a lot of different things. All right, so as I move closer, I'm going to make this shadow line even thinner. All right, see, notice at the angle of the light's coming here. And then notice my angle from my rock is matching the same angle. So that's one of the tricks of putting in a shadow, is you make sure your angle lines up. All right, so my rock made this big old shadow on my ground. All right, big old shadow. And I'm just going to fill in the rest of this with some light brown, so you guys can see the shadow. And I'm just going to soften it. I'm just softening it a little bit. I'm just blending it out a little bit. Just going to soften it. All right. So there you go. All right. So that's the first thing. It's going to make a shadow. Next thing is it's going to have light and dark pieces in here. So I'm going to grab that mini-me brush that I had. I'm going to grab that mini-me brush that I had, and I'm going to turn her, and that was the one that looks like Big Boy, except he's flat. Cheryl got one in her kit. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Now I have to find what I did. Oh, there it is. I found it. We found it. That's what we did. We found it. And same thing as the mountain and the cliff, we're going to do dark and light spots, and you just want to, it's all sharp edges and angles. All right, and so I'm just going to grab that mini-me. That mini-me is just like Big Boy, except he's flat. And I'm just going to do the lighter color brown. All right, so I'm making a lighter color brown. See, a lighter color brown. Again, I'm leaving it all kind of messy. I'm not over blending it. And I'm going to come in here, and I'm just holding this like a pencil, but I just like it has a nice flat edge, and I'm going to be like, all right, so there's the front of that one. Right? And then I'm going to come in here and be like, there's the front of that one. I did do a lighthouse painting where I kind of explained rocks a little bit, because we had them in the water. Tammy did that one. I think Megna did that one. That one was pretty cool. And we did these squared off rocks. So I am just going to come in here, and I am just going to pick different spots. Again, keeping my edge nice and clean. I'm going to pick different spots for the fronts of these rocks, and I'm just going to make different angles and different fun things happen. That's all I'm doing. Nothing tricky here. Okay, so you don't want to lose all your dark. And see how I put that line this way, but I left that dark piece right there, because he's kind of like cutting that off. And let's put, hey, let's just say one lives right here. Right, so I'm just going to drop another little piece of light in there. And let's say, yep, right here. So this is your world. You can do whatever you want. You can make your rock any way you want. So I am just picking different spots. And I'm making nice crisp edges with my lighter color. And I am just picking different spots to put where the individual rocks are in this pile. It's your world, it's your rocks, it's your pile. Do whatever you want. And I like this little square brush because I can do a nice edge with it and not have to worry. So as you're filling these in, notice I'm leaving spaces of dark. See that? See those right there? I'm not losing all of that dark going on. I'm leaving spaces of dark. Make sure you do not lose the dark. Do not lose the dark. Alright, so there's another one. Okay, so now that I just said the dark, I'm going to grab my dark brown, right? My base brown with a little black added to it. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do the same exact thing except the other way. So I'm going to show you up close. See all that? So I just put them wherever I want. No rhyme or reason. And then I'm going to grab the dark paint now. And it's the same thing as the mountain. So on the other side, you just want to add the dark paint in. And you don't want to lose where your light is. And in this little mid part right here, I do a little back and forth blending thing. So in that little mid part right there, I do like a little back and forth blending thing. So if your lighter color winds up being too dry because you took too long, you can just grab more of your lighter color and put that in. So I tend to switch back and forth between the light and dark colors and play with this to get this piece, because this blended piece is a little tricky. It's a little tricky to figure out. So, but notice how I have dark, dark, dark here. The zigzag back and forth of the blended between the light color and then the light color on the edge. All right? That's what you want to remember. That's what you want to remember. All right? And then in here, this guy's like hiding in the back, so I'm just going to make him a dark color. I don't know what's going on with him. So he's just hiding back there. So I'm just going to make him a super dark brown. That's all I'm going to do. And then over here, put the dark brown in. If you notice, I kind of just start at the highlight of the other one. And I'm going to put this dark brown in here. Again, make these crooked little edges. Make all these little fun things happen. And then I'm going to grab my light paint again. I'm not cleaning my brush. I'm just grabbing some light paint. And I'm going to do that in between. So basically, you just have to play to make these in-between colors. That's what you have to do. So with rocks, it's like very organic how they come out. Like, you know, like it's not perfection. And basically I am just playing with those three tones that I said before. My base brown, my dark brown, and my lighter brown. And I am just grabbing those three tones and I am putting them in however I want them to be. And then if you want to make the softer tone, you just blend between those two colors. All right, so rocks are tricky, and you definitely have to play around. You definitely have to turn around and make different things happen and just play with it and add the different tones of the light and the dark. I'm literally just switching from light to dark colors and filling it in and doing little scribbles back and forth so you guys can see how to do a rock. And like I said, you don't want to lose the dark and you don't want to lose the light. And then in the middle, you have an in-between color. So it's your world. It's your rocks. You definitely have to play around with it. I hardly ever clean my brush in this whole entire process because I like the brush having all the different colors on it. You just want to make sure you have nice clean edges. And you could keep it at that. All right, so it's a lot of playing. It's playing around, but you want to basically have light to in the middle to dark. All right, light to in the middle to dark. That's how you do these. And like I said, it's a very organic process. It's not anything that is like, oh, well, you just paint the line here and you paint the line there. No, you just paint your little rocks in your world any way you think they are. And amazingly enough, they will come out. They will come out looking like rocks. Like I said, you just have to play around with that lighter areas and the darker areas. And then do a little blending in between. That's why they're kind of hard, because there really is no... Make sure you put some sharp edges in there. There really is no rhyme or reason. So, like, if you're one of those people that need, like, clear cut, oh, paint this line here, paint that line here, do it this way. Like, you really don't get that with rocks. You really don't get that with rocks. But if you notice how I'm doing this, I am just grabbing my light and dark paints and I'm kind of blending them out in the middle. And I'm making all of these things happen. So I have my lighter tone, my middle tone, and my darkest tone. Okay? So that is how you do that. And I'm going to add like really, really dark parts. Like right in here, just because like that is the dark spots. And I'm putting them at angles because maybe it's just another piece of rock back there that's not getting any light. Right? That happens. So again, make sure you have clean edges. Make sure you have dark pieces. Like I said, it's a very organic process. You just keep playing with it and watch how it comes out for yourself. And the more you play with it, you're going to get different tones. You're going to get different values. You're going to get different things going on that you didn't even know that you were wanting that. And then all of a sudden it happens and you're like, oh, wow, that's really cool. That's awesome. Let me do that, you know? And good luck in like trying to do it exactly the same way again. Because that never happens. So as you play around with those and put the different values in, you're going to get a pile of rocks. And like I said, there's no really rhyme or reason. You just have to keep playing with your 3 tones of color. And put your lighter tones in, put your darker tones in. Make sure that you don't have too much of one and not the other. That's right, Christine. That's right. So Christine says, I need to practice, especially with the palette knife. Yes. So palette knife is a lot of fun. It creates a lot of different things going on. You can definitely do all your rocks with a palette knife instead, because it breaks the paint up into little, like, it has breaking parts in the paint like this. So that definitely helps add to the effect. So palette knives are really cool to use when you are painting. Especially when you're painting rocks and earth and dirt and all of that good stuff. Alright, so I promised, Victoria, I promised you a crater. She was doing a comet landing onto the earth, and I promised her on how to paint a crater, a hole. So where there is a hole in the earth, Not something coming out, but something going in. So, Christine, yes, so have fun, and with all that stuff, I'm going to do the creator. So I have Tracy and Jean and Jamie, Sue, Kimberly, Lynn and Donna, Victoria, Stephanie, Natalie, Cheryl, Julia, Tracy. You've never used a knife, that is fine. If you get they sell plastic ones that are really, really, really dirt cheap. If you're going to invest in yourself a little bit, like I said, I recommend this shape because this is it seems to be the most versatile shape because you have the big edge and the short edge on it. So I do recommend this shape for like when your first ones. And then you can get fancier from there. Like I have one like this that has this extreme point on it. Watch out. I cut myself on that. You don't want to do that. And again, doing this kind of thing, it just creates breakage. So you're playing around with it, and everybody finds their own like little, like some people say press really, really light and this way and that way. Like you just play around with it and you just get the paint on there and smash things all around and you'll do a great, great, great job. And I'm not sure if Victoria's ready for me to do the crater, but oh, a round rock. I didn't show you guys a round rock. All right, we'll do a round rock to see if Victoria comes back to me. So, how do you guys question? So my video for the How To Tuesdays, I'm going to do the three-dimensional shapes, like the cones and the squares and the circles. And with that, I want to show you the highlights and the shadows and the castings and the shading. Would you guys be interested in that? Would that be something you'd be totally down for, learning all that stuff? Oh, you're ready, Victoria? Okay, awesome. All right. So I'll do the crater, and then I'll do a round rock like it's the comet coming in. That's the plan, Stan. Yeah, just play with them, Tracy. Have a great time with them. Absolutely, 6,000%. All right, so where should we throw this crater? I don't know where to put my crater. You're welcome, sweetie. All right, so right here, we're gonna put a crater right here. All right, so basically we're putting a hole in the ground. A hole in the ground. That's what we're making. All right, so you want to turn around, and you need the darkest part, the deepest part of your hole. So I just put black paint on my brush. I'm using the small little square brush again. And you start off, and a crater is circular in shape with little jagged edges. So you just want to put the darkest part right here. Right? And then you want to get a little lighter and lighter as you work your way out. So I just grabbed some of my brown paint. I didn't clean my brush though. And a crater happens because something goes whoosh like this, all right? So you got to think of that, whoosh. So on this side, it's going to be, I'm just zigzagging. That's all I'm doing. I'm just zigzagging with my brush. So on this side, it's going to be all like it's getting pushed in that way. All right? So I have my dark little circle going on here. I'm trying to make this so you can see it, and I don't think you can see the browns I'm doing. So, and then you want to turn around, and on this side, get a lighter brown, and you want all of that coming in to the dark. And then on the other side, I'm trying to make it so you can see it. So I went really, really light. You can go a little bit darker. I'm just going really, really light so you can see what I'm doing. So basically I'm just zigzagging back and forth. That is all I'm doing. And there's my dark circle that I started with. So I'm just zigzagging back and forth. All right, now you guys can see that better. Sorry about that. I couldn't get it to where you can see what I'm doing. And it's kind of important for you to see what I'm doing, right? So I'm going to take, so this is going to come in this way. And you're going to go long out here, and then you're going to come in on the sides nice and tight like that. And then again, you want to do this little blendy thing in the middle. And then this side got pushed. It got pushed as the thing landed. So this is actually going to do like a little swoop. So I want to make this extra light. You guys don't want to go this light, but I want you to see what I'm doing. So this is going to be at like a little swoop, like that. So like it got all kicked up. Right, and I'm just doing little flicks. That's all I'm doing is little flicks. Okay? And then I'm going to take that little bit of black, and I'm going to do my edge right here. And there you have a hole. You have a crater. Thanks, Cheryl. So you'd be interested in all the shapes and stuff like that. So basically, there's your crater. And if you want to get really fancy, you can do the outside edge on that if you want to with the green. Like say it was grass right there. Right? So if I do my little grass around it. Right? I'm going to do my little grass. So I'm going to zigzag the grass here. So that's how you make a hole. A hole or a crater, whatever you want to do. So if it's coming in and hitting this way, you want these lines to go in, and then it's going to push up and out that way. So I'm just going to do my grass around it. Why not, right? And then the grass over here is all messed up. So you want to smush that upwards too. You want to smush that upwards and into it. And I am just using my small little square brush. I'm just zigzagging back and forth, pushing the paint in. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. So the whole thing with a crater is this side straight in. Work it towards where it's getting to a darker and darker spot. Put that nice dark spot right in the center. And then on the other side, nice magnet on the other side, swoop it out. Swoop it out like it got kicked up. All right, now I did that really light so you can see it, but you want your tones to be a little closer to your earth tones. All right, so Victoria, I hope that helps you, and I hope that helps your painting. So let me do a round rock, and yes, I want to do flowers too. I don't know which one I'm going to do first. I don't know if I'm going to do flowers, if I'm going to do the shapes, because I think a lot of people need that thing with the shapes. They have to learn those shapes, and it's really, really. Oh, good. I'm glad that helped, Victoria. It's really, really, really going to make a difference when you paint things. Because if you think about it, when you paint a cabin, what is it? It's a square, right? So I'm just fixing this, and I'm going to put my round rock right here on my cliff. So a nice big old round rock, right? So I'm going to grab my 1-inch flat again. And I'm going to scoop up all that extra brown paint that I had on my palette here. Again, see all the different colors I left going on? I didn't over mix it. I'm leaving it all separations of colors. And just like this, bam! Let's put in a big old round rock. Right? And again, you want to make sure your edges are nice and clean. Nice and clean on those edges. I'm just pulling my brush along. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the thumbs up and the hearts and everything, too. I really appreciate it. So, there's my roundish rock. Okay? And again, we need our shadow. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to make up my mind. I might do flowers next, or I might do the shapes next. I'm not really sure. I have my running list of what I'm going to do. I wrote it all down. And if you guys have anything you want to see for my How To Tuesdays, just let me know. So far, Aw, thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, Sue. So Cheryl said, I'm going to learn whatever how-to you are willing to share. Thank you so much, sweetie. And thank you too, Sue. I really appreciate that. So I have my running list here. Okay, so we did clouds, trees, water. Today we're doing mountains. So the next thing I have 3D shapes and shading, flowers and petals. Another one is birds and feathers. I have animals on here, and I have eyes and lips. So if there's anything you guys can think of that you want to learn that I'm not doing, let me know, because I'm going to run out of ideas. I'm definitely going to run out of ideas. So, oops, I forgot I had the dark brown on that, but that's okay. That's a good spot for it, actually. That is a good spot for it. I just want to soften it out. So, anyway, put, if your light's coming this way, right? So your dark brown, I was going to do the shadow first, but so your dark brown wants to go on this edge, right? And it's a round rock, so you got to keep everything swoopy. That's a very technical term, swoopy. Very swoopy. All right. So, all right, awesome. Awesome, guys. Great. So I want to do the shadow first. So again, my light source is here. So my shadow is going to go here. All right. So I'm just throwing in the shadow. Let me make that a little darker so you can see it. And I'm just scribbling. That's all I'm doing. I'm just wiggling my brush back and forth. My 1-inch flat brush. That's it. And I just got some dark paint on here to make a shadow. And you want to go smaller when it starts to get to the front, and then go larger as you're getting towards the back, because remember, your light's hitting at an angle this way, so your shadow should make the same angle. Like I said, I'm going to cover all of this stuff when I do the shapes, so I'm not going to go like nutty crazy with the round rock, because you're going to learn that when we do the circles. Then that was the base brown, and then I just want to add the darker brown on this side. So I'm just going to swoop in. Swoop, swoop, swoop. A few little swoops with my brush. Swoop. The darker brown. And then I'm going to swoop in. Can you guys guess it? Right? Because I told you this whole thing was 3 values, right? Base brown, lighter brown, darker brown. The lighter brown. You got it. So light's coming from this way. So that's going to hit right here. And again, I'm swooping. Swoop, 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 swoop. And I just want to very, very lightly blend that in. Very lightly. Hardly touching my canvas at all. Letting all the colors on my brush work for me. Not like filling it in, filling it in, filling it in. Leaving all that breakage of color. And da-da-da-da-da-da, you have one round rock. All right, does anybody have any questions for me? Anything you'd like to see? I think I covered everything that deals with earth. Let's see, we did mountains, we did cliffs, we even did craters, we did regular square old rocks, we did one big old round rock, so that was fun. I think I pretty much showed you everything you need to know as far as rocks are concerned, but if I didn't, let me know now. Let me know now, and I will show you real quick. That is for sure. That is for sure. I just want to thank everybody for practicing with me tonight. If you have any questions, 6,000%, let me know. All right, my friend got me this nifty little sign, so I think this is so cool. So it's always free to watch. Tips and gratuities are appreciated. Thank you so much to everybody that has sent me a gratuity. It's really awesome of you to help support me doing this venture. Unfortunately, art supplies aren't free, even though I'd love them to be free, but they're not. So I really, really heartfelt warm thanks. Oh, that Cheryl just said another good how-to night could be fire. You are so right with that. I did cover a little bit of how to paint fire in Fireside Santa video, but I can definitely do all sorts of fires and different things going on, so I'm going to write that down. Good idea, Cheryl. And I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I love it a lot. So anyway, I just want to thank everybody for joining me with How To Tuesday practice session. You all warm my heart. Welcome all to this family. Thank you to everybody that said hello to me. So Kimberly and Lynn and Donna and Victoria, I'm using my Cliff Notes again. Stephanie, Natalie, Cheryl, Julia, Sue, Jamie, Jean, Tracy, Magna. Of course, my love. You all warm my heart. And I just want you to tell you to go create. That's all you need to do. So I will be on for a minute or two more. If you have another question or idea, if you just want to shoot the you-know-whats, that is fine. Kimberly, you are so welcome. I hope this helps everybody. I'm going to get it off of this and onto this so you can see and check out all the different things. Oh, awesome, Julia. Thank you so much. Thank you for a great how-to. Learned a lot. Thank you so much, Julia. You are welcome, Susan. You are so welcome. Cheryl, always, thank you so much. So glad you're part of the fam. Welcome to the fam. Cheryl is officially part of the fam. That is for sure. $6,000%. All of you. We are definitely all family here. So, and we treat each other as such. There's no mistakes in art. You are so welcome, Stephanie. Stephanie, so welcome. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. It does look pretty cool, right? I might have to actually keep this one and make a painting out of it. Does look pretty nifty, if you ask me. I never did so many rocks on one canvas before. So, Magna, I hope your digital drawing's coming out really cute. It was so good to see you and hear you again. Thank you so much. Stephanie said so cool, so that's awesome. Lisa, right? It does. It looks pretty darn cute, doesn't it? Like, I'd have to take Victoria's crater. Just dropped my sign. I'd have to take Victoria's crater out of there. But that's okay. Night, night, Lisa. Oh, I dropped my sign. Right, Stephanie? Yeah, maybe I should make this into a painting. I don't know. I do have a website, www.evesartistry.com. It needs to be updated badly. Right now I'm focusing my efforts on the YouTube channel, and then that's going to be the next step. But there is a lot of my artwork on there. If you guys would like to see that, it's www.evesartistry.com. Night, night, Lisa. If anybody has any questions, hit me up. If anybody's watching the replay, hello, replay people. If you're watching the replay or you're watching this on YouTube, if there's any questions you might have, feel free to message me and I will answer you to the best of my ability. And just remember to have fun. The golden rule, have fun and go create. That's all you need to remember. That's all you got to do. Good night, Stephanie. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. It was a pleasure to have you. Welcome to the fams. I got such a mess after I do these how-tos. It's hysterical. I got like 2 different palettes. I got a cup full of brushes. Got all this stuff going on. Good night, everybody. So, if nobody has any further questions for me, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. And I hope you all have a wonderful evening. You all warm my heart. I love my creative family. And I just wanted to tell you to make sure you have fun and to go create. Okay? Mwah. Good night, everybody.